We're going to do some more things with slab, getting more difficult as we go. These are some dishes made with slab, and if you can envision it, the bottom is just a circle cut out, or this one of course is like an oval, and then the sides laying down, they're really like a long rectangle, and then they're set on their sides and attached with scoring and slip. So let me show you how to do that. We're gonna roll the clay out again, and I guess we'll try thin. Sometimes thin is kind of hard to have it stand up on its side correctly, but we'll give it a shot, because I think when it's thin it's more delicate. It's kind of cool. But you might want to go with the square sticks. These sticks are a little thicker for rolling, so if you think you want it a little thicker, go with those. Alright, so can you see how it's just like rolling on the sticks now? Then I know that clay is exactly the thickness of the stick, so I know I'm done rolling. Okay, I think I'll make something round, and the cool thing about these three, it's really easy because you don't have to have it match exactly and hide the seam like I did on these. You can't see where it meets, and this is a little easier, so if you're going for easier, you might want that. To cut out the circle, if you want a circle for the bottom, I would just go over to the cart and figure out what size you want your mug or your dish to be. I have one that's bigger than this, several at home that I've made that I keep like my kitchen tools and things in. So maybe you want it to be, you know, this big around, or maybe you want it this big around. So figure out what you want. I think I'll go with this size. And just kind of like a cookie cutter, just press it down into the clay and twist it a little bit, and it's a very easy way to end up with a really nice circle without having to cut it. You know, if you'd rather have a square bottom, you can use that. All right. Now I've got the bottom, and I'm going to have to do the sides. So I need a rectangle, and I'm going to add some more clay to this because I think I need it a little longer, and roll it again. Move this over so I don't mess it up. Now when you're going to cut your rectangle, you don't really need a ruler, you just need something straight to make sure your edges are straight. If you want a ruler to measure, you can, but I usually don't. So I need a straight edge on this side, so I'm just going to cut along the edge of the stick and move that over. Kind of falling off the table here. Okay, and then if you want to measure this, like I said, you can, or you can just look at it and try to get this edge parallel to that first edge you cut. And then the bottom, line has to be perpendicular to those two that you cut. On the top. Now this is an old trick. If you've ever seen them mark like a soccer field or something, they have this wheel that they walk along. It's, you know, a big round thin wheel, and they measure. So if you want to kind of do that with the bottom of your cup or mug or whatever this is, put a little notch in it, like right, and then have that be the beginning. And if you roll it down the length to where the notch is again, you know that's how long yours should be. So mine's just about right. If it was too long, I would cut it off then where that notch matched up. Okay, I want to put some designs in the outside of my mug. The designs on this one were made with one of these fabrics. The design on these were made with the roller fabric. This one was, I don't know if you can see that, but it was made with, I think one of these really thin designs, and then it had different shades of glaze in it. It looks like flames to me. I really like that. All right, I'm going to use a roller, I think. So roll it down. Any direction you want it to go. This is your design. You're going to be, part of your grade is going to be on your creativity. So I don't expect you to do it exactly the way I'm doing it. All right. Remember, you have to put your initials in the bottom. So grab a pencil. This will be the bottom of the mug. Put your initials in everything you do on the bottom. And so now I'm going to kind of check this out and see how it goes. All right, so if I want it to match up exactly, I'm going to trim it a little bit because it's a little bit too long. And if I want it to be kind of wavy like these, it wouldn't matter. I would just cut this wavy and have it overlap. And that's kind of the easiest way to do it. Remember, if it's going to overlap, you're going to cut notches. You're going to score it. And the design actually made notches there. And then I would put the slip, you know, the clay and water mixed together. I would just slop it in there and smooth it out. If you need to put a little newspaper inside to keep the shape, you can. Oh, I forgot though, I also need to score and slip along the bottom edge here. So think about, so you know where to score, think about where it's going to be touching. So it's going to be touching on this outside edge here and this inside edge here. So the easiest way to score, to make X's in something like this, is to go one direction on an angle all the way around and then go back the other way. And that's an easy way instead of doing individual X's. So a little hint there. Same thing on here. Okay. And then I think I want this, I want to show you how you can match this up exactly. So I said I needed to trim it a little bit. So I'm going to cut that. And then if I want it to end up exactly, this outside edge is where it's going to match up on both ends. All right. So my slip. Didn't make this slip ahead of time far enough, so it's a little thick, but you'll put it all, everywhere you need to put it, and make sure you have plenty on. It's easier to wipe off later than not have enough. So pretend that's enough. And wrap it around there. Match it up exactly. And I would need more slip and have it be a little more liquidy than I've got it right now. But you get the idea. And make sure you press that slip in really good to the bottom. If you don't have the bottom attached correctly, you'll have a crack in the bottom of the mug. Add a little more. This should be like runny paste, and I don't quite have it right. Okay. Now, if I was gonna, if this was gonna be a mug instead of just a jar or something, a dish, and I wanted to add a handle, like this one here has a handle, I would just cut a strip of clay. Remember where it attaches, and you can cut any shape, you know, shape this any way you want. It could be just like a letter C handle. I made this kind of like an 8. You want it big enough that you can put your hand in there to hold it though. So where it attaches on the piece of ceramics, you want to put, you know, make sure you score it. And then also on the handle, you want to score where the handle's going to attach. And then you go ahead and attach it. If you need to support the handle with newspaper so that while it's drying, it's supported, I'll have you be the one to place it on the cart, and you can support it any way you think you need to so that it dries in the right position. Same thing with the clay. When you set your, especially if it's cut really thin, when you set it on the cart, make sure it's exactly round and there's no places where it's dented in, because however you put it is how it's going to end up. I showed you how to make some round things with the slab technique, and what I didn't show you is you can also make other shapes. You can make, you know, triangular shapes, square shapes, tall shapes, all sorts of different things. So remember, you basically figure out what shape you want your project to be, and then you cut the clay out for the bottom in that shape. And then these can be separate pieces if you're going to do this. This one was made with one long skinny rectangle that they stood on its side, and of course you had to score it, put the X marks, and use the slip, the watered down clay, to use like paste and attach it. And this one was made, you know, just a small little square for the bottom. And I think what he did was he had a big long rectangle and turned it around this way, but you could also have 4 separate pieces on the side, and then you'd have to score them all the way around. And then he cut this zigzag line around here to make it fit exactly. He made a little handle, and I love the way he used like the different colors to make it pop. All right.